Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome into your daily read for Friday, April 14th, 2023. I do want to thank you so much for joining me for this reading, and I hope you're doing amazing. But do keep in mind to supersede, as always, it is general for the day for all 12 signs. So just take what resonates and leave the rest behind. I'm going to just pull for each quarter of the day to begin to break it down from the Mermaid deck, and we'll see where the reading takes us. The King of Swords, the Hermit card, the Strength card, and right from the top of the deck for the last quarter, the World card. Okay, so let's further clarify each one before speaking upon them. The Page of Cups to clarify the King of Swords for the first quarter. The first chunk of the day is going to entail you putting your experiences, I want to say multiple, your knowledge, your wisdom to use, a sense of discernment taking place, needing to be decisive quite efficiently by trusting your intuition, however that looks for you. But it feels like there might be a bit of a cold kind of, they're saying cutthroat, okay, for some, but a bit of a cold sort of potentially unhealthy energy floating around. This could be due to your spirituality, could be multiple aspects, could be in the situation, say living, where you're working, potentially due to somebody else or multiple people, or just the area, potentially how something's run. But it feels like Spirit's saying there's a beauty about how within this first quarter and at certain points moving forward, you're able to and will need to touch base with and utilize your masculine and your feminine side at the same time and separately. But I'm getting sort of your mature side and your inner child's fun, innocent side, okay? And this, all the meanwhile, benefiting you to experience levels of balance in your life, okay? And when this comes to be for you individually in your own way throughout this first quarter, remember that so that you can tap into that, each side separately, and at times a combination of both, once again, to benefit your life moving forward. Very interesting. The Hermit card coming out for the second quarter. So naturally, I feel as if there's a focus on your leadership abilities, your quality alone time, your independence, all the meanwhile, okay? Some of which I do feel as if there is a focus within your own mind of potentially, in the eyes, the awareness of others, on how certain aspects of your life make you come off a bit, creepy or just eccentric, okay? I know my spirituality does that for me. It could be a hobby or certain interests or the way you word things, I want to say, for some people. But the Knight of Cups, okay, I do feel like there's a focus for some in the second quarter on wanting this Knight of Cups to fly in for you, okay? I don't know why they just showed somebody on a broom, but I do feel as if you could find yourself in the second quarter thinking about potential love moving forward, or the specific person you've already met, already been connected to, even if you're not at this time. But I wouldn't be surprised if this quarter of the day, as you get ready to wrap up the first half, entails you looking at potential options on an app online. You could find yourself looking at getting, for example, Instagram Explore page. When you shuffle that, you see all the random posts, seeing a specific type of physical figure on an individual, or just an attractive person in general, or you could see a picture of a couple, okay? And this sparks the thought, the focus on the love that you wish to have, or the type of individual you wish to be wrapped up with moving forward. And it could even remind you of somebody from the past, even if you don't wish to be with them or even have them in your life, okay? And so Spirit's saying, all the meanwhile, it's going to be an interesting kind of alternation, or up and down, okay? Or mix in the second quarter of thoughts and focus on your individuality, your independence, your alone time, and your desire to connect with people in general. But in this case, I feel like love, romance, dating taking quite a highlight in sexual matters. But it feels like, as well, Spirit's saying, this reminds you that you do desire different levels of fulfillment that you don't have in your life fully or at all at this time. And I do feel as if there's a wish fulfillment lying ahead for you. Okay, some of which this might not be in the category of dating per se, or romance, if you will. But I do feel like Spirit is trying to remind you at certain points through synchronicities, through someone else's readings, through you pulling your own cards, through your mind, your thoughts, that even though that's something you desire, or say it's a job that you desire or a new opportunity, another type of door opening, the wish fulfillments, the new situations, the desires coming to be moving forward, or even the needs coming to be, they're going to come in the right order. Okay, you need to trust that, but also be careful what you wish for all the meanwhile. But we have the Strength card to shift on forward to the second half of the day, the third quarter. Thoughts of being trapped. I did get in one of the several attempts to get this reading going before. There could potentially be thoughts throughout this day at certain points about being restricted. Okay, a bit of not wanting to be, or fully not wanting to be caged in. But you might be thinking about a future acquiring of a situation. Say, I always get this example, say you get a new job, okay? And it leaves you feeling a bit restricted, less free time, having to be there, having to commit to it. But then there's certain levels of freedom. You do acquire more success, at the very least, more finances coming in, right? So Spirit's saying it's another kind of day that reminds you, and I feel like it's being highlighted in the third quarter, the good with the bad, okay? The give and take in certain ways. Now, I do feel like this is coming into play. I knew I wrote this down for a reason. I tend to jot down quotes I pick up from TV shows, movies, other readings, but more so what I watch as far as movies and TV shows. Give to get, that's the secret of life. Give to get, that's the secret to life. Give to get, okay? So I feel like there's a focus throughout this day in the third quarter, especially on how strong you feel when you give to get, okay? Or just give to give and then you get in the end, okay? The give and take from the universe as well, but your ability to feel strong or even needing to replenish oneself at times from giving back or giving to others in general. Your helpful nature taking a highlight. But I do feel like for whatever reason, whether it's due to what you are accomplishing or wrapped up with in the first half of the day, or it could be the previous days more so, or both, the third quarter does highlight the fact that you do at times and currently need to regain a little bit of strength, okay? And so you might be regaining some of which, or all of which, by helping people, right? Or reviewing your positive, helpful efforts from the recent past, some of which it was the beginning of this day. But I do feel as if you're, going to make it is what I'm hearing. The Ten of Cups. I do feel like you need to prepare by maintaining and at times regaining that strength, healing, if you will, to prepare for an ideal situation for you. Whatever that is for you, it's, again, a wish fulfillment, right? You don't want this perfect relationship to come to be for you, this potential commitment, and then you feel so burnt out that you can't commit or show your best self, right? Put your best foot forward. You don't want to begin this new job or jump into this new investment of importance for you and feel all out of whack or just have nothing to give or just not make the best out of it, right? So this quarter highlights just that. But I'm hearing just keep swimming. Just because that message comes out doesn't mean you can't stop and relax, replenish all the meanwhile, but that message is coming through for a reason. A motivational kind of message from Spirit to say, don't give up on your dreams, your wishes, your goals, on whatever feels so far away or just at times has just certain other similar situations, wish fulfillments, if you will, have come in and then dissipated so quickly or just came to an end with disappointment. Doesn't mean we give up on an ideal situation in a similar sense moving forward, okay? Everything happens for a reason. It just feels like, as well, some of which are being reminded, a space in between, right? An opportunity that didn't work out in your favor or that is continuing it as an ideal and a new one, okay? However that looks for you, whatever category of life that's in for you, that space is purposeful. And you may not be able to put your hand on, grasp, see specifically how that works out for you or why that is for you. But at a certain point you will. And this has happened to me several times in my lifetime. So I just try to the best of my ability, remind myself, this is purposeful. Okay, there's a delay that is quite divine and needs to be recognized quite consistently. Okay, but underneath it all, excuse me, there might be a focus on certain stresses in your life and how some of which might continue moving forward, but some of which is in your control, but some of which is left behind. Very interesting. I know how that looks for me to an extent, but I feel like there's thoughts and a focus on those different levels of stress in your life, because everybody deals with stress, right? Life isn't perfect, but it's about keeping your crown on or putting it back on, as I'm drawn back to the King of Swords. Okay. The World card to move on to the last quarter of the day, clarified by the Four of Swords. The last quarter, if you can, needs to feel like a very relaxing time for you. So I'm getting the second half of the day in general. You will be in your head a lot, okay? But outside of oneself, all the meanwhile, it needs to be a time to heal, to relax, to replenish, and brainstorm in a simplistic way. But I do feel as if, okay, and remember, there is a highlight on the fact that your world is changing and you're protected, in regards to this. I feel like going back to that Nine of Swords, some of which is a highlight in the second half of the day in general, on how your spirituality has and still does stress you out a bit. But then there's that protective side of it, all the meanwhile, that magical assistance you receive at times that you have to be so grateful for, right? I know that I deal with that. And I feel like a lot of us drawn to this reading deal with it as well. If an emotion does pop up, or certain emotions pop up in this last quarter, Spirit's saying it's an opportunity to heal from what you've been through. Because again, it feels like a day where there's preparation taking place at certain points in all four quarters at different times, different ways once again, for certain ideal wish fulfillments moving forward, okay? And the continuation, the success of whatever isn't meant to come to an end for you, however that looks for you. But again, when you start to think about where your control lies and where it doesn't within this last quarter of the day, if you look at her holding the world, Spirit's saying will protect you through it all. Certain spirits will mess with you. Certain slip-ups will take place moving forward. Things will feel a little bit difficult at times, but it's not meant to feel as difficult as it once was. And again, I feel as if you need to heal, rest your beautiful heart and soul, and recognize once again you're protected. As I do feel like this is another time where you could potentially have some quality alone time. But if you look at this imagery, I feel like spirit animals are taking place, spirit passed over pets as well, animals. But they're saying you're surrounded by a lot of good energy, creating a barrier from the negatives, however that looks for you, okay? And today once again, we're preparing you for the best. We're preparing you for a lot moving forward. So take, again, the good with the bad and do what you have to do throughout this day, but make sure you're healing once again, all right? So I hope this was truly helpful. Sending you so much love and light. Go enjoy your Friday, and I'll definitely see you next time.